Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. It is Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. Very excited to be here. Very excited to start off the very, very first session of March, which is Women's History Month. Quite a few women that have been in my life that have definitely helped me out. A lot of phenomenal women out there. And I just want to say thank you definitely to my wife. So much support. You have really encouraged me to do everything transportation and logistics. So thank you. And you're just genuinely a dope person. I appreciate you. My mothers, my sisters, the Transportation and Logistics Clubhouse would not be what it's grown to be without the leading ladies of logistics. So Vanessa, Sam, Tristan, and Tawana. Tawana for sure. Thanks, Tawana. I appreciate you even inviting me to be on your platform the other day. I'm very grateful, ma'am. So thank them. We have Grace Sharkey. Grace, appreciate you for being a guest, but also for that write-up that you did on the Transportation and Logistics Clubhouse. I truly appreciate that, ma'am. Raquel Battle of Eregion Logistics. She helped me moderate so many rooms last year, so I appreciate you. Miss Jerry over at OTRR. I love the work that you're doing with that SAP program. God bless you, ma'am. Christy Wiggins, the independent agents of EPS Logistics. I call her the Dre Lady. Jamira Williams of JLUL Logistics. She's also in drayage. She's the container chick. We have a few more. The educator, Hope White of HD White Logistics. The phenomenal Melanie Patterson of Integrity Knowledge Center. D. Stevens of Marquee Insurance. You gave us so much information about commercial trucking insurance. So thank you so much, ma'am. And most recently, we had Sheree Moore of She Trucking. She's been the voice of the voiceless. She's been a champion for minorities for quite some time. And I'm just very, very grateful for having her on stage. So thank you to all of those ladies and, for everybody else that's celebrating, Women's History Month. I'm here to support you all. Now we do have our guest for this week, Mr. Bill Gray. How are you doing today, sir?
Dory, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm feeling blessed, brother. Feeling blessed. I'm so happy to finally have you on the stage because, God, y'all don't know. Myself and Bill, we've been talking for some time now. We've been talking for some time, so it's great that we finally have you on stage, brother. Bill, can you please introduce yourself and, let us know what CLC lodging is, brother?
Okay. Well, my name's Bill Gray, and I've been with CLC for a little over 17 years now, so quite a while. And I'm kind of a senior sales associate. I run national accounts, but a little about CLC. We are the largest negotiator of lodging in North America. So I'll try to keep this succinct, but in essence, because of our size, and I'll kind of describe, that size in a second, but what we deliver, we have 40,000 hotels that we have under contract throughout North America. So we're in all 50 states, we're in Canada, we're in small towns, medium towns, large towns. We've been in business 50 years, started as a small company in Wichita, Kansas. Today we're part of a company called FleetCor, which does a lot of P cards. They're our parent company. We're the lodging end of the company. But what we basically deliver is significantly reduced rates on hotels, and we are able to get those because of our size and volume. We have a large staff of people. Their full-time job is negotiating with hotels. And we bring each one of these 40,000 hotels a lot of volume. And to kind of give you just a brief scope of that, we do every major railroad. Burlington Northern Railroad does over 2 million nights a year with us. Trucking, which I know is instrumental in what we're doing here. We did over 5 million nights last year with trucking companies. So we do Yellow Freight. We do every auto hauler. Cassins is a client of mine. We do every major auto hauler. So significant amount of truck volume. We do over 1,000 crew-oriented companies. We do FEMA. We do Red Cross. When there's a disaster, when Hurricane Katrina hit in '05, CLC had 750,000 people in hotels within 36 hours. Our company handled that. So what we basically are able to deliver to our large trucking network is really three basic things. Typically, your rooms at the hotels that work with us, the rates are going to be somewhere between 20 and 30% below the best rate you can get on the internet. You can walk into the hotel with one of our cards without a reservation and get that reduced rate. We have 4 ways you can make a reservation. We have an instant book, which you can do on your phone. You then get a confirmed reservation back. You can search hotels very easily. Like I said, we're in all 50 states, but let's say you're going to Williamsburg, Virginia, for instance. You can put in Williamsburg. You can put in an address of your last stop. See every hotel within, you put the proximity, but let's say you want to see every hotel within 5 miles where you're going to be. Every hotel comes up, the pricing, the amenities, illustrates whether it accepts truck parking, the pricing you're going to have, and you use our hotel only if that fits for you. The way we have this program set up with Jory and through Clubhouse, there is no setup fee, there's no minimums, no sign-up fee. The only time when we make our money, when you stay in a hotel, we get a nightly fee. We used to post that fee of $4.95 a night, but for years we had people say, just put in the cost, because they'd see a cost and then the $4.95 would be below it. But anyway, so you'll see the cost, you'll see the best available internet rate. Typical, you may be looking at a Comfort Suites or whatever. Best available internet rate, depending on the part of the country, and it obviously varies, but might be $85. Our rate may be $65. If that fits for you, it's close and it's going to save you money. You can book an instant reservation. You can have us make the reservation. You can walk in without a reservation. So we improve the reservation process, and we also save companies a lot of money. The way we have it, and Jory will go into it and ask more questions, but we have a key code. So when and if anybody wants to get started with CLC, as you go in to sign up, there's a place that you can put a key code to tie in with what we're talking about today. You simply put in CLUB club, and then you set up a username and password, and you go to your phone or your laptop or whatever and look for reservations, and it's that simple. So that's my 3-minute overview.
Yes, sir. That was great, man. That was awesome. You covered a lot of things, and some of those things I want to go back in and, elaborate on. But how long does the process take to actually, start that reservation, that registration period to when you're actually good? How long does that process take?
About 10 seconds. And that's a great question, Jory. Basically, if you go in to sign up with CLC, and like I said, using the key code of club, they'll ask you some basic questions. Number one, they're going to want a physical address, because that's where they're going to mail the CLC card, which you will utilize to. They'll ask you for an email address, because they'll communicate confirmation of everything by email. What I didn't discuss, and I'm sure Jory was going to ask me, I'll jump to it. The way the payment is done on this is through a credit card you put on file. So when you check into a hotel with a CLC card, they normally will ask for a credit card to cover incidentals. But when you check out of that hotel, the billing for that hotel, which will be the rate you saw on the when you went to our website, that will then be charged to the credit card that you have provided on file, and that can be Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. But basically, when you sign up, you'll give us that information, including the credit card information. But once you complete that, and that takes 5 or 10 minutes, but once you complete that, and by the way, that if if you're like me and struggle with jacking with stuff online, George, you can get my contact information. I can assist you with that. But once you get that done, you at that point, you are literally active in our system. So, I mean, once you get set up and in the system, I mean, you can look right then at, hotels. And like I said, we're in all 50 states. If you're going to Topeka, Kansas, or Chicago, Illinois, or Dallas, Texas, or wherever, you go in and put that in with an address you can pull up, and you can play with it. You can go in and look at, wherever you want to look, places you've been in the past, check rates. But like I said, the only time, you utilize our program, and, like I said, we started as a small company in the Midwest out of Wichita. We've grown spectacularly because we are a pay-for-performance company. So, you're not writing us any checks. If we didn't provide savings and reservation ease and appropriate hotels at good prices, people wouldn't use us. And like I said, we've had spectacular growth and continue to have spectacular growth because really there's nothing else like us because nobody else has our size. I mean, you can go to Expedia. We're going to be 20 or 30% below that. You can go to hotels.com. You can go to the hotel website. And that's not to say, I mean, there's times if, you walk into a hotel and they're completely empty, you might be able to get a rate that's comparable to our rates. But like I said, you only utilize and make a reservation with us when it accomplishes everything you're looking for. So in other words, a hotel that's appropriate, hotel that's close to where you want to go, and you're going to save some money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, look, I want to tell the people I have gone through that setup process. And it was way before I had met Bill. And I was very, very pleased with how smooth and how quick it was. It literally took me, I want to say about 8 minutes from start to finish. And then I was very surprised when I saw my membership card just magically appear probably a week later. I had forgot that I did it. And then, I got reminded when I got the card. So, just being one of those early adapters, once I heard about it, I was like, oh, this is a great service. Let me see about it. I have a transportation company and, it worked out, so that's one of the main reasons why we needed to get CLC lodging on the Transportation and Logistics Clubhouse was just because I saw the need, especially being a dispatcher of box trucks. Those folks are needing hotel rooms almost nightly. So this is definitely one of those services that would help box trucks and hot shots and folks that have day cabs that are going a little bit farther than they anticipated. So let me ask this question, Bill. What benefit does this service play to a fleet owner? So you have multiple drivers who need hotel rooms nightly. What benefit does it serve to those folks?
Well, it's multiple, and keep in mind, and I think, I've mentioned, but for instance, from fleet owners, for instance, we do yellow freight. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, they're a very large trucking company. From a fleet owner standpoint, they can set up multiple trucks. They can set up and really, if you've got multiple trucks, you're probably best to contact me. Because, we can, go into questions, answers, and the reporting that's available. One of the things from a fleet owner standpoint, if you've got multiple trucks, when you put a reservation in the system, whoever is the administrator who sets up that account, they can see in real time where all the reservations are. So let's say you've got a company, you've got 10 trucks or whatever. That person can go in and see every reservation that's been made of those 10 trucks. They can see where those people are staying, and they have record of it. So if you wanted to go back and see where truck 8 was between January 8th and January 15th, you can put that in and it'll pull up. Okay, he was in Williamsburg, Virginia. He was at a Comfort Suites. He was in room 108. He checked in on Monday and checked out on Tuesday or Wednesday. So you get a lot of information. The other thing I want to emphasize, with trucking, and I can't speak to your individual situation, but I deal with countless truck companies. And in many cases, because of the nature of trucking, there's a lot of last minute stuff. You can be running ahead of where you thought or behind where you thought. And, you can go in on your phone, hit our app, go in and literally see, where you need to be in 30 minutes. You can see hotels. You can see whether they're sold out. You can see whether they have truck parking. And like I said, you don't even have to make the reservation. The only downside to that is the one caveat to that is that if they're sold out, obviously you're not going to get a room. But if you walked in and said, hey, I'm with CLC Lodging, I need a room for the night, unless they're sold out, they have to give you that room at our discounted rate. And you can see that on your phone very, very quickly. So, there's a reason we did over 5 million nights last year with trucking companies, because our program is it is a real benefit for countless truckers throughout the country.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, look, let me ask this. I know the ultimate goal is to get more heads in beds, but, it sounds like you guys had almost about 17 million. You were responsible for 17 million booked rooms every single night last year. How does that even work? I know you have a whole team towards building business, but that is a phenomenal number. Like, what do you feel like the 2022 is going to do for that? You think it's going to go up? I mean, I know that's kind of forecasting, but what do you think?
No. I mean, keep in mind, to be honest, the only year in the last 30 years that we have not had significant growth, we actually dropped, and I forget what the percentage was, but it was the first year we hadn't had significant growth, and that was 2020 with COVID. Because we work with we didn't drop as much as most companies, because we work with so many what they call essential workers. But there were a lot of companies we work with a lot of companies that have, like salespeople that are on the road, or, people that are out doing, kind of projects. But, if they weren't essential workers, they were on hold and weren't traveling for 3 months or 6 months or 8 months. But our growth has been, and like I said, I've been with the company 17 years. A vast majority of the companies that I work with come to me via referrals. And they know that if they have a problem. And one of the other things I haven't mentioned, we have a great traveler support group. You can imagine working with Red Cross and all the emergency companies and truckers and that type of thing. We have, people on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're having trouble with a reservation, let's say you walk in, and by the way, this can happen. It's 10 o'clock at night, and the person working at the front desk was working at Wendy's the day before. And they've lost your reservation or whatever. I'm sure everybody here, if you've traveled much, have had something like that happen, okay? We have, there's an 800 number that you can call. It's on your CLC card. And like I said, we have a large group of people that are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, they have record of your reservations. That's the other disadvantage of walking in without a reservation. But, you give them your name and, they'll pull up your account. They'll say, yep, here's your reservation. Here's your confirmation number. And if they've lost the reservation, our person will get you checked in. So you have a tremendous amount of traveler support. Or if you want to call somebody, you can't get to the app or whatever, you can call our traveler support line and say, hey, I'm going to Williamsburg. I'm going to be on 5th Street. Make a reservation at a hotel near there. Okay. So, once again, I mean, the reason we've grown is because we provide great services, great support, great reporting, save companies money. Now, the one thing I will tell you, I'll tell you what we're not. We're not an executive travel company. So if, somebody's looking to go stay at the Marriott on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, that's not us. Okay. We're basically kind of Hampton down, upper mid-scale. We're Holiday Inn's largest client. We're extended stay's largest client. Having said that, we don't have every Holiday Inn. We don't have every extended stay because our negotiators, they literally are, putting hotels against each other, trying to get our business. So that's how we get the rates we do. So, you can count on in any given area, there's going to be an economy class hotel, there's going to be a mid-scale hotel, there's going to be an upper mid-scale hotel. But like I said, if you're looking for a Marriott, our upper-end hotels are like Hilton Garden Inn, Hampton. I think we've got over 500 Hamptons. So it's that type. I mean, what you're going to see when you go on there are tons of Comfort Suites, Best Westerns, Holiday Inns, Country Inn and Suites, Econo Lodges, Super 8s. So like I said, and obviously with all the trucking business we do, there's a lot of hotels that accept truck parking. So
yes, sir.
Anyway. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was going to, you mentioned something, the Red Cross, and you mentioned FEMA earlier. And I just wanted to come back to that because everybody knows FEMA. If there's a disaster that happens, we count on FEMA to arrive and fix it. And how did you guys get involved with FEMA?
Well, it's an interesting story. And keep in mind, when the president declares a disaster area, a little known fact is our company actually takes over the hotels in terms of who can go into those hotels. Because, if you have a severe disaster like in Florida, they have to be able to, if you've got 100 power and light trucks coming down to fix electricity, there's got to be places for them to stay. And that's a huge priority. So our company works that out. And so we work on a priority system. But the way we got that business, it's kind of interesting. We actually didn't. We'd worked with Red Cross for years. We had tried to get the government's business forever. Hurricane Katrina hits in 2005, and if anybody remembers that or was involved with that disaster, so it's been over 15 years ago, the government was caught completely not prepared for that in any way, shape, or form. If you'll recall, it was a mess. And so what happened was the government goes, New Orleans was underwater. So you got all these people that they have to leave New Orleans, and they're going, okay, what do we do? And the government had no answers. So the Red Cross told the government, there's only one company that can do this for you, and that's CLC. So we had a signed contract with the government within 3 hours. Wow. Which normally takes about 30 years.
Awesome.
And from that time, I mean, the government is in our headquarters once a quarter. They go over. I'll give you an example. It's kind of an interesting story. There was a nuclear accident in Japan several years back. And not long after that, the government was in our offices with all the major hotel groups. And they basically role played, if that happened here, what would we do? So they're, but when Katrina hit, they weren't ready. They are a lot more prepared today. And from a lodging standpoint, we're the company that they put that together with. So that's how it happened.
Right. Wow, man.
So that's, and that happened because we had worked with Red Cross for many years.
Okay. Well, cool. Thanks for answering that question. And, there was one thing. You talked about the type of companies that you guys have as partners. Are there any companies out there, any lodging organizations that you would love to work with that you're not currently working with?
Not really. No.
Okay. I mean, you say you got 40,000 different organizations signed up already. So, I mean, I know there's few and far in between that's popping up.
There really isn't. And to be honest, in most cases, I mean, I get stuff and it isn't supposed to come to me. But in fact, I got 2 requests today it was routed through me. It really shouldn't have been, but it was hotels saying we want to get on CLC's program. So, the thing about our program is we bring these hotels hundreds of nights a month, if not thousands of nights a month. And I'll tell you, on a Tuesday night in November, they may have 48% occupancy, but of that 48%, probably 70% of that is CLC clients. So, and they pretty well can budget And they can say, hey, we know when we're looking at our staffing, we know we can count on, we're probably going to have, 500 nights this month from CLC customers. So, we bring them a lot of benefit. And typically, if we don't work with a hotel, not every hotel wants to work with us because, let's face it, they're not thrilled that they're giving a rate $20 below a night, what they're getting from most people. They're not thrilled with that.
Right.
But they are thrilled with the volume, especially, if their occupancy is down. So they kind of have a love-hate relationship with us. But no, typically, no. We basically are working with everybody. And like I said, we've been doing this a long time. I mean, every hotel group knows us. They know us well. And if there's a hotel not working with us, it's probably one of two reasons. Either we don't want to work with them or they don't want to work with us. I mean, for instance, if you've got a hotel that they run 98% occupancy, which is a rare duck, but, they wouldn't need our volume. So they would probably say, no, we're not going to give CLC, a greatly reduced rate. We don't need to do that. That's very rare, though.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Is it possible for you to walk us through the reservation process? And, if you could talk to us about it, like if you're doing it online, and also if we were just, walking in off the street. And I want to add emphasis to the filters that you were talking about before, because this is trucking. We have a lot of hotshot drivers who have, 30, 40 foot, trailers behind them, or box trucks that are 26 feet or whatever. Right. And they need extra room. So what are those filters like? And can you walk us through that registration
Well,
process?
it is clearly noted whether it's approved for truck parking. So,
Okay.
for instance, like I said, we do every major auto hauler. Now, I can tell you for auto haulers, and they have, one of my, in fact, probably from a per night standpoint, the largest client I work with is an auto hauler. Okay, they do a lot of room nights. I mean, a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, but their directory is so specific that they can't have a hotel, for instance, with a significant dip in the road by the hotel, because that would damage the cars they're carrying.
Okay.
So
that makes perfect sense. I never would have thought of it being so granular like that. But yeah.
Well, and those are large companies, things we do kind of specific things for. Okay. But no, when you go in, so the reservation process, I mean, it really is very, very simple. You've got an 800 number on your card. You can call us to have us make the reservation. You literally can call and say, hey, I'm going to, 2850 5th Street in Williamsburg. I need a hotel near there. Okay. So you can call us. You can look. Most people just look at, hit the app on their phone, put in a city or an address. Up comes the hotel. They scroll down. They know what kind of hotels they like. I'm guessing whoever's on the call right now, they have a hotel brand they like. Somebody may want, they love Holiday Inns, or, somebody may like Best Westerns, or, whatever it is. But you look for a hotel, and a hotel that's close. All the amenities are on there. It's in bright notation, whether it's approved for truck parking. So, you're going to look for a hotel that's a rate that works for you, that has truck parking. One of the nice parts about our program is, I travel a lot for our company. Mm-hmm. Okay. And when I'm making a reservation, typically my reservation is done in less than 2 minutes. That's from the time I say, oh my God, I got to get a hotel room for tomorrow night, or, whatever. So literally you go in, you put in where you're going to go, up comes the hotels. You can put the search parameter. You can do it by lowest price to highest price. You can put it by, I want to see a hotel within 2 miles of this delivery. So very quickly, you see the hotels, you know which ones you like, you know the rates you want to pay. So, normally within about 30 seconds to a minute, you pretty well have zeroed in what kind of hotel you want to stay at. Then you got 4 options to make the reservation. Most hotels have an instant book feature, which you just hit that and say instant book, and then you wait. There will be a confirmation that will be sent back to you via email or text, and that may take 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but that's an instant book. You have a direct link. You can call the hotel, or like I said, you can just walk in without a reservation. So one of the reasons it's so popular is just very quickly. And like I said, in trucking, there's a lot of last minute changes and that type thing. So, I mean, very quickly, you can decide, is it a hotel that's close? Does it take prep parking? Is it a hotel I like? Am I going to save money? Make the reservation. That typically you're done in less than 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. So is there any specific reason why someone would need the card in hand? Like, let's just say one of my drivers, they need to go stay a night and I haven't booked them a room. Is it a matter of them only being able to get the CLC prices if they have that card in hand? Or, does that matter if they're still a part of my fleet and I have them designated, so
yeah, as long as they are an approved traveler, what you would need to do would be to, if you do not have your card yet, or you do not have a card, and that would be, you actually, if there's somebody that has a company and has drivers and they don't want to give those guys cards, there is an electronic process you can use where you can send that reservation electronically from somebody in the office, okay? And, we would set that up. Probably 85% of our people just use the card. That's the easiest way to do it. The other thing is, let's say you lost your card. You forgot your card, whatever.
Right, yeah, that's more so what I'm talking about.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so you can call our reservation group and tell them, hey, this is, Bob Smith. I'm with, the XYZ trucking company. And they'll look up, they'll see you're an approved, traveler with the hotel. And they will send a hotel authorization form to the hotel so you can get checked in without a card. So the hotel will then get basically an authorization from us that says this person can be checked in without a card. Here's the name. Here's their check-in information. Here's their card number. So the reservation and the billing can be handled.
Okay, so now let's go back to the other side of that. Are there any safeguards in place that kind of say, all right, these stays are authorized versus, this is not something that was approved? Because at the end of the day, the fleet owner doesn't really know. They have the card on file when they first register. So that's where all the actual the fees are going to hit that invoice that are going to be taken from that credit card that's on file. But are there any safeguards that kind of say, well, this is personal travel versus business travel?
No, there really isn't.
Okay.
I can tell, first thing, the one thing I would emphasize, if somebody's setting up, a multitude of travelers, they should work with me. We can go through this and, answer and that type of thing. The one thing about it is, if you've got somebody and for any reason they leave the company, or for any reason, you can go online and cut them, take them off as an active employee, and literally, if they try going in that night to a hotel, their card, it wouldn't work. They won't show as an active employee. So the minute they get removed from our system, they are not an active employee. The one thing I will tell you, and this is once again, if you've got people, if they've got a card and they're an authorized employee, the one thing, if you believe that might be an issue, typically what you do is you make very clear, and a lot of times they'll put it in writing, and basically says any misuse of this card is grounds for immediate termination. Now, in this day and age, very few people, and the other thing is the key people within the company see every reservation. They've got access to all of that. So if they see a reservation for somebody at Disney World and they don't go to Florida, you can very quickly notify us and basically notify the employee, you're no longer. I can tell you that fraud on the card is I'll give an example. I had a conversation about 3 months ago. I've got a company that they do about 10,000 nights a month. with us. Okay, they're mainly salespeople that are out on the road. They work in grocery stores, salespeople, and they're merchandisers. They move stuff around on shelves and that type of thing. I asked this travel coordinator. I said, "You guys did over 100,000 nights last year." I said, "How many nights did you have of fraud?" And she said 2.
Okay, wow.
So they did over. So basically, most people aren't going to want to lose a job over a $50 a night hotel room, especially when they know it's going to be caught.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, when you see the bill come in or you see the reservation, I mean, very, very quickly, you know that is fraudulent. But no, once they have a card, if they're an authorized employee, there's no way we know whether that is a active employee or not. Now, some companies can set it up where they get the card, and a lot of companies, especially crew-oriented companies, all the reservations are made in the office. The people out in the field don't even know which hotels are ours. That's all handled for them. The company does it. So they control everything. Some companies do it that way. So, like I said, I probably have 100 different ways companies do our program. So basically, you tailor how you want to set up the program, who's making the reservation, what kind of hotels. I mean, for instance, a person can put a cap on the hotels. So in other words, if you've got 10 drivers and you don't want anybody staying in a hotel over $70, we can put a cap on the directory where they don't see any hotel over $70.
Okay.
So,
okay, yeah. I see
like
those.
I said, there's as I mentioned, if anybody at any point has a number of people that are going to be part of the program. If you've got, if you got a trucking company where you've got 10 people or 15 or 20 or, whatever, I would highly recommend working with me on setting it up and, going through, how you would want to see your reporting, whether you want to put a cap on things. We've got companies that part of their company uses cards, part of the company doesn't use cards. So there's a lot of different ways we can do things. Now, I would say, a lot of the 5 million trucking nights, there's a lot of them that are, truckers and they're sole owners. It's just them. So that's so a lot of the stuff we're talking about wouldn't apply if you have companies that only have one driver, 2 or 3 drivers, and they know the guys. But and you bring up good issues, Jory, but those are typically when you've got multiple people out in the field and turnover, and the things you're bringing up become a lot more important in those situations.
Right. Are there any restrictions, for who can actually apply for an account or register their company? Are there any restrictions to that?
There are no restrictions. The only restriction is that, there has to be a credit card on file that can handle the usage. So, in other words, when you go into that hotel, that's the other thing. If because the credit card that's on file, okay, if somebody's going to be at a hotel for 5 nights, and that hotel is going to be $80 a night, that's $400. Okay, well that card's that card is they're going to put a hold on that card. So in other words, they're going to test that card right away to see whether they're going to get their money. It's the exact same way you do with a rental car. When you reserve a rental car, you have a reservation, you give them your driver's license, you give them a credit card. At that moment, that rental car company runs that card for the amount of the rental. And they put a hold on that to make sure that, that card's going to be good for the thing. And the hotel's going to do the same thing. So that's really the only restriction. We probably work with literally thousands of different kinds of companies. I mean, we do companies that do underground drilling, companies that work on cell towers. Tons of companies work on cell towers, tons of companies work on wind turbines. millions of different kinds of trucking companies, crew-oriented companies. I mean, you name it. I've got a client that it's a helicopter company that sprays railroad tracks for weeds and that type thing. So their travelers are helicopter pilots.
What a very niche industry.
So I could tell you that the different companies we work with that would blow your mind. So no restrictions. If you've got a credit card and you want to stay in hotels and you got a company, we're your partner.
Gotcha. Okay, I love to hear it. So when it comes down to it, you did mention the process of a rental car and how they go about, going ahead and checking that card for the amount that you're really requesting, booking for. How long have you guys been in the rental car business as well? And I see that you can also do flights. What are those discounts like on those things?
There are no discounts on that.
Okay.
That's something we've started within the last year. And to be honest, I don't get very involved in that. We have done that strictly because we've had some companies that are clients of ours that have said, is there any way that you can, and, that is not one that we are, all that is a convenience where if somebody wants to go in and hit a link and figure out how to do a rental car and set one up, they can do that, but there are no savings. Really, it's just a convenience for somebody to route that while they're doing their hotels. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, that's a fairly new. We started doing that, I guess, about a year and a half ago.
Is that when you got Travel Alliance?
Probably about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we actually announced today we buy about a new company every year, and we just announced today another company that we're buying that does hotels for airlines, primarily in Europe and the Middle East. So we have companies, I think, in 34 different countries.
Okay. Wow. Go ahead. Yeah, I didn't know about the international side of things.
Yeah. I don't get involved in any of that, so don't ask me any questions about any of that. All I do is hotels here in North America. So.
No, it is all good, brother. Well, look, I probably have a couple more questions, but I did want to go ahead and open it up to the room. If there were any questions that anybody had, please feel free to raise your hand, or you can direct those questions to me. I can follow up with Bill, or you can reach out to him right now. So I did want to just go ahead and open up the room for questions. And I did want to say, Bill, thank you, brother. It's been a long time coming before we were going to be able, since we were first talking about having this conversation.
It's been a while.
Yes, sir, it has. And I really just want to say I appreciate, your willingness to stay with it because it took so long.
Well, I appreciate your willingness to stay with it because some of the delay. I had a couple of instances where I had some family COVID stuff, and Jury and I were working on it. So I appreciate your patience as well.
No doubt, brother. No doubt. But yeah, was there anything specifically that you wanted to mention that we didn't get a chance to cover?
No, and I don't know how you communicate. If anybody is interested in my contact information. I mean, anybody can, shoot me an email at any time. We may have instances where, you don't have a need today, but 5 months from now you do.
Right.
You've got a situation you're working on. You're not there yet, but down the road we maybe have people out using lodging. So. That's the type thing, having my contact information is, and I can tell you, we've covered a lot of ground here, but, it's not unusual if, somebody's thinking about this and a day later they go, oh, I forgot to ask this, what about this?
Right.
type thing, and that's not unusual. So we've covered a lot of ground, or we've covered something and kind of you didn't catch what we went into. So, like I said, if there's a way to communicate my contact information, that might be beneficial. But yeah, any additional questions that are out there, I'd be glad to take.
Okay, cool. So I do know for sure that people are going to be able to replay this session once, we conclude. And the fact that I have posted this link, they're definitely going to have access to register for the service. If you wanted to post your email address in your actual profile, you could do that. And each and every single time that someone re-listens or somebody replays this session, they can just click onto your profile.
Okay. Yeah, I will add that. The other thing I will tell you, you put the club connotation in the key code and you sign up, I get copied on that. So I will immediately have your contact information. And if that's the case, as you sign up, what I will do, and I normally, maybe not every day if I'm traveling or something, but I'll keep up on that. And basically, in fact, I think we had somebody, last night that used Club and signed up, and I got contacted on that like last night. But when you do that, I have, when you sign up, I have that email information, the phone number, and that type of thing. So what I will do as we move forward, people that are signing up with the club group, I'll just do a quick follow up and say, hey, saw you signed up. Appreciate it. If you have any follow up questions, feel free to reach out, and you'll have my contact information and a direct link immediately. But yeah, I'll add that to my profile as well, Jory.
Perfect. Well, look, it didn't seem like we had any questions. I think we covered it.
Okay.
We covered it, brother.
Okay. Well, we covered a lot of ground, and I think we got. To be honest, I think we got most of the basics. But like I said, I'll add that to my profile, and anybody, and particularly if anybody's listening after the fact, recorded. Feel free to reach out, and if you have additional questions, and like I said, keep in mind, and for people listening after the fact, there is no setup fee. So, when you go in and sign up, you'll get a card sent to you. To be honest, if you feel like, you might have travel next month or whatever, go ahead and sign up. Now, if you're not interested or you're not going to be traveling, don't jack with it. But if you think you might, there's not a downside. Okay, you're going to be able to go in afterwards and check our hotels and the rates and all that, and so there really isn't any kind of a significant negative to go ahead and signing up if you feel like that you would have use for it. If you don't, then obviously don't jack with it. But anyway, yeah, we'll add that, and yeah, feel free for anybody to reach out after the fact.
Okay, well, cool. So look, we're going to go ahead and close the room, guys. I did want to say thank you again, Bill. We look forward to Monday. We're going to be partnering just like we always do with FreightWaves, Sonar team. So join us next Monday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we do have a director of sales for Sage Freight, a brokerage that, I'm very cool with their director of sales. So we're going to bring them up here and highlight them and all of the different opportunities that they have. So again, Bill, I appreciate you, brother. I'm probably going to follow up with you shortly, but you have a blessed night, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Jory, I'll just tell you, Zoco LLC, I just got a notice they signed up. So just to confirm that, when you do sign up at the club, that comes to me, and I'll send a quick response to this entry right now, so they'll have my contact information. But just to confirm, that comes directly to me, so that's an immediate link. So
shout out to Zoco.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, have a blessed one, everybody.